Hi guys, welcome to DevOps World. So today I'm trying to discuss about the Docker commands so that you can understand what is the Docker operations which we are trying to go with next coming classes. So last class I discussed about an Docker introduction part, and so far I was installed Docker installation part in AWS. Okay, so now today I'm trying to discuss about the commands so that it will be very important and very helpful to you guys to work on the progress. Okay, so today, as per the scenarios, we are working on Docker commands based upon the images. Okay. So what is Docker images? Okay. So if you want to download any Docker image, we are trying to go with Docker pull image name. If you want to see the list of Docker images, we are trying to go with Docker image ls or Docker images. To see the Docker image from the Docker host, we are trying to go with Docker remove and image name or image ID. Okay, so to upload a Docker image into Docker Hub, we are trying to go with Docker push image name. To tag an image so that Docker tag image name following with the IP address, and we are trying to go with customized image name. Okay, so we are working on image name. To build an image from the customized containers. So basically, what is meant by customized? Customized is nothing but we are working on the duplicate part. Okay, so clients are already having original scenarios, but we are working on the duplicate parts. That is, we are working on the customized container so that we are trying to go with Docker commit container name and container ID following with the image name. To create an image from the Docker file so that Docker build -t. So what we are trying to go with Docker build -t. We are following with a new image name. To search for the Docker image, we are trying to go with Docker search image name. Okay, to delete all the images which are not attached to the containers, so that we are trying to go with Docker system prune-a stands for arguments. Okay, so basically what is images? Actually images will comes a picture. So see, whenever you're working on previous site like to traditional IT, we are trying to download the files and we are working with the third APIs. Okay, but here in our cloud, we have all the collaboration techniques so that we can download very easily about the images within the fraction of seconds. Previously, we have like lot of time will be take place and we are not trying to follow particular scenarios. Okay. Now coming to working with the containers. So what is meant by containers? Containers is nothing but a storage. We are working on the storages. Okay. So here we are trying to work on to see the list of all the running containers. If you want to see the list of all the running containers, Docker container ls, Docker container ls. Okay, to see the list of all the running and stopping containers, we are trying to go with Docker ps-a, Docker ps-a. Okay, to see the list of all the stopping containers, we are trying to go with Docker ps-a. Next, to see a containers, Docker start container name and container ID. To stop all the running containers. Okay, so Docker stop container name and container ID. To reset all the running containers, we are trying to go with Docker reset container name and container ID. Next, so reset means if you want to reset your freshly, you have to start the containers. For this, we are trying to go with reset. Okay, so it should be a 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, depends upon your client requirement. Okay. To delete a stopping container, we are trying to go with Docker RM container name and container ID. Okay, to delete a running container, to delete a running container, Docker remove -f container name and container ID. To stop all the running containers, to stop all the running containers, Docker stop ps-aq. So what is meant by Docker stop? Stop means we are trying to stop the containers. We are trying to go with process state. -a stands for arguments and q stands for queue. To reset all the running containers, to reset all the running containers, Docker reset ps-aq. To remove all the stopping containers, we are trying to go with Docker remove ps-aq. To remove all the containers from running and stopping containers, we are trying to go with Docker remove -f, Docker ps-aq. To stop all the logs from the generated by the container. So we are trying to go with Docker logs, container name, and container ID. To see the port that can be used by the container. So we are trying to use the ports and we are running by the container. So Docker inspect container name and container ID. to go into the shell and running containers which can move into background, so that we are trying to go with Docker attach container name and container ID to execute any command in a container. So to execute any command in a container, so Docker execute, so IT stands for interactive terminal. We are trying to go with container name and a container ID. To launch the bash script shells on the containers, Docker execute IT stands for interactive terminal. We are trying to go with execute. We are working on the bashes. Okay, to create a container from the Docker image, very, very important. So Docker run container name. So Docker run image name. We are working on the image names. So now we are trying to work on the options, guys. This is very, very important. So basically, what we are trying to do here is we are working on the options so that it will be very helpful to you to work on the tags. Okay, so for this, we are using options for this. IT stands for interactive terminal. So for opening the interactive terminal in a container, so we are trying to work on the progress. Okay. Now hyphen name. It is used for the name of the container so that we can try to give the name of the source file. Okay. So hyphen D stands for detach mode on the base of running process containers, and hyphen D stands for environment variable to the container. Hyphen P stands for we are trying to work on the port mappings, which can be uh, Docker host on the particular ports, and -p stands for automatic port mapping. It will be like internal port of the container. So this port will be like just like our greater than 30,000, 40,000, 10,000, depends upon the scenarios. -v stands for attaching the volumes, and we are trying to go with volume of the container. So we are trying to go with volumes between the containers. Okay. So networks. So what is the network? Network stands for we are trying to go with point-to-point connections where we can work on the scenarios. Hyphen link stands for it's a multi-linking containers. Okay. We are trying to work on the multi-link containers by using Docker containers. And memory. So we are trying to work on the memory so that we can work on the RAM and ROM, and we are trying to go with CPU utilizations based upon the like disk hard allocations. Okay, we are trying to work on the progress. So like this, we have all the syntaxes so that we can learn from the starting from the images, containers, and we are trying to go with options. So these are very, very important. So today's classes, I want to explain the commands so that it will be very easy for you as per the syntaxes. Okay. So tomorrow we'll try to discuss about the operations regarding about the Docker so that we can try to understand very easily what kind of use cases we are trying to go, and what kind of what kind of things which we are trying to rise. Okay. So this is all about today's class, guys, so that like if you have any doubts, you can study well, guys. These commands are very, very important so that we can try to work on the progress. Okay. So this is all about today's class. And if you have any doubts, feel free to ask me so that we'll try to signing off. Take care, guys. Have a